Trying to tell y'all, man, that's all we need. All right, let's go. Early morning. Now, I don't know about you guys, but winter's coming quickly. I don't know what state you guys live in or whatever, but where I'm at, it's coming rapidly, like at a rapid pace. It's getting real cold outside, especially early morning, like how it is right now. But you guys excuse me, man, I'm still sounding nasally from the time when I cut the grass. Like I hate cutting grass because my allergies are so bad, man. I hate it. But anyway, so just thought I'd come to you guys with a little bit of story time while we drive. We're gonna finish out the rest of the vlog after the story time, so just sit back, relax, you know what I mean? Truck drivers out there, hopefully you guys enjoy this as well, help you pass by some time. And well, not even just truck drivers, anybody in general, you know what I mean? Like if you work a regular job or whatever the case. The point of people being on YouTube, because I know I watch YouTube myself, but the reason I watch YouTube is to pass by time, you know, just because I don't want to have to just sit here and look at cars all day and whatever else and listen to the boring ass radio. Because after a while of listening to music, man, you get bored. Like you start looking for things to do when you're a driver or whatever you're doing. Excuse me. Anyway, so on today's topic, I want to talk about how I got fired. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys may not believe it, but I'm sure we all can relate to it. A lot of us have been laid off and fired before, whatever the case. However, I'm not talking about my current job, man. This is a story time here, so for all my haters out there, the people that dislike me for whatever reason, you know, this is your time right now to exit. But anyway, for those of you guys that rock with me for real, I appreciate you guys. All my new subscribers, man, I really do appreciate you guys. I hope you guys stick around for the long run, man, because I have some really special things coming out, like some really special videos and everything like that, that hopefully you guys can enjoy as well. However, so yeah, let's get into it, man. So how I got fired was, I was working at this company. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. They actually went bankrupt back in 2023. YRC FREIGHT, Yellow, Holland, whatever you want to call them. So how this happened was, I was working there for about a month almost, and they they were going to give me an extra 30 days, and they couldn't really pinpoint a reason why, but only thing I could think of is because I was a young man working at a facility where it's a bunch of people that was older than me. I think at the time I was probably about like 22, 23, something like that. And the reason for me even wanting this job in the first place is because I wanted to be home every day. I was tired of being over the road because I started driving at exactly 21 years old. So by the time I got a couple of years under my belt of driving, I was ready to be home with my kids, my wife at that time. I was ready to be home with them, help raise my kids and things like that. Enjoy some time off, like being home every day, having my 2 days off and things. Because you guys don't understand, if you're not a truck driver, you probably don't understand. But when you're OTR, for every week that you work, you only get 1 day off of work. So you gotta work a full 7 days, then you get 1 day off, another full 7 days, then you get another day off. And then eventually, if you work a full month straight, now you got 4 days that you can take off and nobody can say anything to you about it. However, anyway, but yeah, I was working at YRC Freight, and it was kind of a bittersweet moment for me when they closed, because I felt like they fired me wrongfully. And the reason I say that is mostly because of the fact that the bitter supervisor that was there, and I always talk about this dynamic. I know I touched on it a little bit in probably previous videos, but that supervisor that was there, let's just call him I don't know, Steve or something. Call him Steve, whatever. So the guy, Steve, he decided he had an issue with me that I didn't even know about. And then you have other older workers that were already there. I don't know whatever race they were or ethnicity, however you want to put it. Someone kept writing me up. For what reason, I have no idea. And this is what I was thinking when I was there at first. I was like, so I don't know who's writing me up or whatever the case, but I'm like, whatever. So come to find out, it's the guy that I call Steve, and he was the one writing me up every time. And I decided I was going to confront him. You know what I mean? Like, well, why are you writing me up, bro? And his excuse was, oh, because you're taking too long of a break and whatever. You know what I mean? So I never took too long of a break. I never showed up late. But what I can say is this. What they seem to fail to understand is when you come into work, like, you have people that's already there, like first shift. I came in like second shift. So they were not first shift, my bad. They worked third shift, like graveyard overnight. I worked graveyard a couple of times, but for the most part, I was like first shift. So I had to be there like 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So as I'm coming in, you got some of those guys who work overtime and then they take a break at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. If I've only been there for about, I don't know, 2-3 hours, you can't expect me to want to take my lunch break right then and there at 8 o'clock in the morning. First of all, I'm not hungry. Secondly, I'm still fully energized from a full night's rest. Why would I want to take a full lunch break right now? You know what I mean? That's stupid. That makes sense. But anyway, yeah, so he wrote me up for that. And believe it or not, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I got my mic on here so you guys can hear me clear. But he wrote me up because of my Bluetooth. You know, the Bluetooth that all truck drivers wear. Now listen to this, man. And that was actually the reason why they fired me. When I actually got called into the office the day of me getting fired, they never really gave me a reason why. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna assume it's because of my Bluetooth and because of the color of my skin. I'm gonna just chalk it up to that. And the guy that I call Steve, he was a Caucasian guy, and like I said, and he was also an older guy on top of that. So when a lot of these managers out here, they see you as a young man trying to elevate and things like that. At the time, I didn't have a fancy car or anything like that. I think I had like a little Volkswagen. That's it. But yeah, at the time when these older guys that's been at these places for like 10-20 years and things like that, last thing they want to see is a young person like myself coming up under them and making moves. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, Yeah, man. So the day when they called me in the office, I did have my Bluetooth. I mean, I didn't have my Bluetooth because after they told me the first time, I can't even have it in the building. At first, they were like, you cannot wear your Bluetooth while you're on the clock. The time I had it, first of all, it was around my neck. And I wasn't punched in on the clock yet. I still had like 30 minutes left before I can actually clock in. So anyway, they let you clock in an hour early. I clocked in an hour early almost every time. But on this particular day, I just sat around the clock because we had like a little bit of a meeting before I was actually able to clock in. So that's what we did, man. I sat around the clock, waiting, listening to the guy up there speak at the meeting or whatever. And yeah, eventually I just started leaving my Bluetooth in there. But the day when I had it on, someone called me in the office because I got written up, and they were like, yeah, you can't wear that in the facility. I'm like, they told me before that I can wear it as long as I'm not on the clock. And then all of a sudden words get mixed up and all this stuff, and it just became an issue. So I just took it off, and before I actually came into the building, I left it in the glove box moving forward. However, yeah, man, so they still decided to let me go. They gave me an extra 30 days, I guess, of probation. I think they could make it seem like, yeah, we were trying to give you an opportunity to make up for it or whatever the case. That wasn't the case, bro. What it was is y'all needed someone to work. So y'all decided to keep me there for an extra, it wasn't even a full 30 days. It was like 27. So right when I thought I was becoming permanent, they called me in the office that day. They didn't tell me I was on a forklift. They didn't tell me I was working in the yard as a yard dog that day. And I wasn't loading anything, so I automatically assumed that, okay, they got me a route. But once they handed out all the routes, I'm like, okay, what am I doing today? They were like, oh yeah, come on in the office. They called me in there, and next thing I know, they was like, yeah, so we're gonna have to let you go. And I felt so betrayed at the same time because, you know, you have all these older men. What these older men like to do at these companies. And this is no attack on the older guys or whatever the case. Like I said, you got some cool guys out there, but you have a whole lot of them that don't want to see a young man do anywhere near better than them or just as good as them. So this was kind of like my pivoting point in my career, because once I seen that happen, I was like, never again. And thank God I have a CDL to the point that it wasn't that complicated for me to find another job or whatever the case after the fact. But this is what I be trying to tell a lot of you guys as well, man. Like, if you don't have a skill, or believe it or not, having a CDL is considered having a trade or a skill that you can also manipulate and change into a business as well. Like, a lot of guys don't see it that way, which is absolutely ridiculous to me, but it's a lot that you can do with having a CDL, bro. Like, it's just as simple as that. However, yeah, man, so, and I'm not gonna lie, the day that they fired me, I walked through the whole entire warehouse looking for Steve. And that day, guess what? He all of a sudden wasn't there, but he was the one writing me up the most. And I got so petty to the point that, give me a second. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. But I started getting so petty to the point that whenever I had to use the bathroom, I started just telling them, like, I would go up. They had like little towers set up in the middle of the warehouse. So I just started telling them, hey, I gotta go take a shit, bro. Simple. Like, I gotta go take a shit. And he thought that was like, okay, man, that's too much information. You don't have to do all of that. These are his words. That's too much information. You don't have to do all of that. Excuse me. And I said, no, I feel like it's absolutely necessary, because of the fact that you keep writing me up for things that aren't even facts. You know, it's not even true. So I'm like, whatever, you know, at this point. And then and it got to a point where I just started taking my break. I didn't even go in the break room. Like, I just started taking my break right there on the forklift. And I always kept one of these on me, like a little canteen full of water. Excuse me. Anyway. So yeah, what happened, I just started taking my breaks right there in front of the little tower or podium, whatever you want to call it. that they had set up in the middle of the warehouse for the supervisors and managers or whoever to stand up and see over the entire warehouse. But I didn't even get off the forklift on that, like the days when I had to load. I didn't even bother getting off the forklift. I parked right there next to him, took my break, had my watch on so I can tell the time, or I set my timer sometimes on my phone. Because as soon as that timer go off, okay, let's get back to work. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. But yeah, man, when you're dealing with those type of people at your workplace that want to just write you up and get you in trouble for absolutely no reason, you know what I say to them, bruh? I hope y'all find some type of happiness within y'all life. This ain't exactly what I want to say, but I'm trying to keep it clean for YouTube. But yeah, man, hopefully they find some type of happiness in their life. And the guy that I call Steve, I would say that he seemed like one of those nerd type of guys, man, that don't get pussy. I'm just keep it 100. He seemed like one of them guys that's backed up. So with that being the case, and me looking how I look, being a different color than he is, and then on top of that, I'm not an ugly guy, man. I don't think I ever had a female tell me I was ugly. So I'm like, with that being the case, of course he's gonna be jealous of me because, oh, you're younger than me. Oh, you're trying to be in the same position as me. Oh, you're working here just like me. I'm a supervisor though. Okay, that's fine, bro. But don't sit here and get mad at me for trying to do better and making better choices than you made compared to when you were my age, just because you're in your 40s and 50s. And that can apply to anyone. For anybody that decide they're going to be jealous of a young man that's trying to do the right thing, you're the problem, bro. You are the fucking problem. And the reason I say that is just because of the fact that if you're going to consider yourself to be like a mentor or a guide or OG in the streets or whatever you want to call yourself, man, you're supposed to be leading these young men in the right direction. Don't mislead them and tell them, oh, they sassy for wanting to work a job or build a business, networking with people, because that young man has a bigger vision than what you can actually envision in your own brain. Like, it don't compute with you whatsoever because you never been in that position. So then when you start hating on that young man, eventually it's going to expose itself and you're just going to be a bitter old man. You know what I mean? Like I said, this isn't to offend any older gentlemen here that subscribe to my channel. I actually appreciate you guys because you guys are more open-minded than 90% of the older population. And the reason I say that is because you're here on this channel. So I appreciate you guys. We can share common grounds on a lot of things, and as long as you're one of those men, young or old, that feel like you can always learn something from someone regardless of who it is, kudos to you, bro. You're gonna elevate in life. I know you are, because I've never been closed-minded to anyone or their ideas. But now if it's the idea that they have that go against my moral compass, then absolutely I'm not gonna go for that. However, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit while we're driving. We have about 8 miles left. I guess I can show you guys how to properly unload, since now I have water paste with me today on this vlog. And we only got 2 loads today, but they're both kind of lengthy. So, hey man, you guys just sit back. Oh, hopefully try to enjoy the ride. It's a little rough out here, man, all this construction. But yeah, that kind of wraps up this portion of the video, man. So it's actually just let's continue, y'all. Let's go ahead and continue this rest of this vlog, and I'll show you guys how to unload when we get there. Oh man, all right guys, so we're almost finished here. We got one more stop after this, and I don't know if you need to hear this or whatever. Let me finish doing my paperwork real quick. A lot of you guys are stuck in that loop of trying to prove yourself that you were a street guy, things like that. And I got one message for you, okay? Let me get a little closer so you can hear me. Nobody gives a period. Nobody cares. Like, bro, you pushing 30, 40, 50 years old and you still trying to prove yourself to who? To who? Nobody care what you did, bro. It's 2025. Get to the money. Straight up. Now let me go finish unloading. Y'all about to piss me off today. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and put this stuff away. This is one part about fuel hauling that I don't like sometimes is you have to run the hoses underneath the truck. It can cause you to have to do a whole lot of work. So you guys are gonna see what I mean. So let me show you something. That's why we keep these little caps in here. Because believe it or not, this thing is still full of fuel. You guys probably can't see it, but put that on there. Just so it don't spill out, because we still gotta kind of tilt this up a little bit and get the rest of it out of there. There we go. Let's straighten that up. Now we should be good to unload, so let's go on the other side. Slide that under there. I'll pull it through when I get on the other side. Now guys, don't do what I do, you know. Stick to tanks or whatever. I always stick to tanks, man. I'm comfortable with the store. I come here a lot, so most of the time I do realize that their tank readings are pretty accurate. Let's go ahead and put this up. Just like that. Now let's get the vapor hose and put that up too. So in case you guys didn't see my other video, what was the name of it? I think buying a truck and trailer or something like that. It was a video request from a subscriber. But anyway, in case you guys didn't see that video, this is why I said if I were to buy a tanker trailer, it has to have this little shelf on it, so that way, you know, you can fit things like a bunch of different size hoses, your vapor, and you can keep the, I don't know what we call this thing, I keep forgetting the name of it, but this little end right here that you attach to the ground, you want to, I always keep mine attached just based on the fact that it makes it a lot easier. Because then it just gives you more things to have to put together and all of that stuff. No one wants to do that every time, so I just rather have a little shelf set up the way that it is right now. So that way we'll always be able to get that vapor on and off, get all the hoses on there, and have plenty of space for whatever it is we need. And make sure everything closed up. Yeah, we're good. Let's get this. Put all my cones away. I forgot about that one way up there. Let's go get it. Acquired. I leave my gloves in here, just like that. And let's go get the printout or the tank reading. This will be their copy of the after. This is my copy. Alright. Have a good day. And just like that, we're on the way to pick up the last load. Let's go. So I know you guys are probably wondering what is going on this part of the video. If you guys don't know where we are, first of all, I had to do a voiceover because we are at Citgo. They don't play too much about wearing cameras and all that stuff. You have to wear your fire-resistant clothing all the way up to your throat. And yeah. So that's why I got the camera like on my chest instead of my head. So it's a horrible POV, but you guys get the point. So right here on this part, if you guys look on the bottom right, you can tell that I already have the things hooked up. So first thing first will be to hook up that green cord right there. That will be your Scully. And as we continue to walk towards the back of the trailer, as you can see, that would be your vapor right there. So yeah, always hook up your Scully first, then your vapor. And always just double check everything, of course. And then, as you guys can tell by the heavy breathing, I've made a horrible mistake on, I guess, my breakfast choice that morning, lactose. So, yeah, from the heavy breathing, you guys can tell where we're heading. Yep, it's about that time. Gotta take a shit. So, let me take off all my stuff first and make sure that, because it's about to get serious, so.
A few moments later.
Okay, so now we're back in the game, feeling light, feeling ready, motivated. We head back out here. Feeling much more relieved. And everything is already still hooked up, so next thing will be to basically hook up your arms, man, and that's what we're doing here. So like I said, all I tried to do is be as discreet as possible by having my camera on my chest, so that way, you know, the cameras above won't be like, oh, he got something underneath the rack. You're not supposed to have Bluetooth or a phone and all this other stuff. Yeah, we get that. So anyway, we're hooking everything up. And I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but these damn arms are pretty heavy. So yeah, it's gonna take a little breath out of you. All the twisting, turning, lifting, pulling, all that good stuff. So anyway, then after that, we head over here to the little shack, put in all our information, and then we just play the waiting game. We just head over to our last stop. Let's get it. What we got? 8, 6, 7, and 5. Look like everything gonna fit. Let's go ahead and start unloading. Wait a minute. I forgot. So we got regular, premium. So premium in the middle, everything else regular. Let's unload. Yeah, this is a weirdly set up store, y'all. So gotta make sure I got everything right. That tank, premium. And we got one more going to this tank right here. And I hear an air leak. I'm not sure if you guys hear it or not. Let me see if I can find it real quick. don't know if you guys hear that or not, but it sounds like it's in the front over here. Let's see. Yeah, I hear it. Oh, there we go. Yep, right there. I gotta get that fitting. I think that's the fitting. It's not the hose, so I gotta get that fitting changed out. That's a simple fix though, y'all. This is the things you gotta go through when you own your truck. I don't think it's leaking out of none of these other ones. I don't hear nothing. So it's really just that right there. I think that's just the pressure coming out the airbags. Yeah, because I am parked on a slight hill. So, yeah, man. This is the last stop for the day. Where's my pen? Anyway, hopefully you guys are having a good day. I'm debating right now if I want to go get my truck washed. It definitely needs it. It's filthy on the outside. But what else could we talk about while we sit here and wait? This is the part that everybody seemed to think that this is all this job consists of, is just sitting here going through paperwork all day and things like that, waiting. I mean, it's not a hard job. Like, I haven't broke a sweat yet today, and that's mostly because it's cool outside. But for the most part, bro, it's a pretty cool job, you know. If you guys ever want to consider getting in a tanker or fuel hauling or whatever, I would definitely encourage you to do so. The rates are better than dry van for the most part. And I don't know, just a much better way of getting your trucking money without having to be over the road. So another thing I wanted to talk about would be, it's a lot of people that believe that when you have your own truck, you gotta go OTR. But what they don't realize is this, when you get your own truck, that's a great thing. But when you go on OTR with your own truck, I think I heard Chase and Andrew Jackson talk about it today. And I've been saying this for the past like few years now, since I've been fuel hauling. You don't have to go to OTR with your truck. When you do that, bro, you putting your truck and your business and everything at risk every mile that you drive, because you pushing that truck to the max every day. It's like, come on, bro, what you expect to happen? Something's gonna go wrong eventually. But when you're local, you know, like how I am, for example, you know, you drive, do a few loads a day or whatever, and you know, you make pretty decent money. I don't know what you guys are looking for per day as far as pay go, but it's not that bad of a deal, man. Make you a nice few $100s a day. Sometimes it could be way more than that, but and you park your truck for the rest of the day. Let your truck get a rest. Let those tires get a rest, all that stuff. Let the engine get a rest from revving all day. But when you OTR, you revving the entire day, the whole 600-700 miles. Some people even more miles than that if you're driving with multiple log books. But yeah, I say only go OTR when it's completely necessary, like if you have no other option, because the pay is still going to be pretty much equivalent to if you were local. So it's like, at the end of the day, what's the point of you being out there if you're gonna make the same thing as a local driver, putting your equipment at risk? Come on, man. We gotta think smarter than that, drivers. We gotta be smarter, bro. But yeah, man, like I said, this is my last stop for the day. What else did I want to talk to you guys about? So to summarize what we talked about earlier with the older generation of people in the workplace or whatever the case, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So at the end of the day, you know, some people they kind of fixed to be that way at the end of the day. So it's not really much you're going to be able to do about that. But what you can do about that as a young man, stay focused, mind your business, get your money, and whatever dream it is that you chasing, man, go continue to chase it while you're young. See, a lot of those older guys in the workplace, when they see you get your own truck and things like that, they don't want to see you elevate past them, bro. They'd rather see you below them, even though a lot of them haven't got far. You know, they'll sit there and brag, yeah, I got a 401k and IRA and whatever else. That's a good thing, but you being young as you are, having your own truck, the potential to earn is much higher. So I'm just saying, man, I'd rather start a business any day, because once you actually have a business, this is what I want you guys to understand. I know a few people who had their own authority and things like that, including chasing Andrew Jackson. And when you see those pay stubs, bro, it's like, what am I doing? I still look at it now, like, what am I doing? Why am I still even leased on to a carrier, bro? But the part that a lot of people don't talk about as well, but I'm gonna mention it here, is how high of the overhead, like how high the overhead is just to start your authority. Like, the down payment for your insurance is gonna be astronomical depending on your driving record, where you trying to start your authority at, like what state and city and everything. But oh boy, I don't know. So yeah, now we play the waiting game. Let me go check on this premium. The premium should be done by now. We only got one compartment of premium. Yeah, it's done. So let's make sure it's empty. Oh boy. Matter of fact, yeah, let's put this one up. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of dealing with all these spiders and shit. Let me know if you guys been seeing them everywhere. Them damn, what they call them, Euro spiders, whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of times in the morning you have to have like a flashlight or something, because you'll walk right into one and didn't even know it. I had one in my car, and I was driving on the way to work, man. It was just swinging back and forth on this web right in my face. But and he was a nice size too. He was probably about the size of I don't know, my toddler's hand or whatever. So it sounded like they were there arguing, but that ain't none of my business. But yeah, man, I'll make the decision. What you guys think? Should I get my truck washed today? It's filthy. It is filthy. Like, look at that mirror. Especially that one over there. Got all type of bugs on the backside of it. Yeah, I'll let y'all know in a minute what I do. Y'all will see it. guys got to see me park. And yeah, that's the end of it, guys. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.